Yo, Rebels, what is going on now? Welcome to a video. I've got an absolutely crazy story to share with you in this video, and it's basically responsible, or at least it plays a major part in me not having uploaded for a long time. This story actually goes back all the way until December last year, but for the sake of keeping this video concise and relevant to what is to come afterwards, I'm just not going to talk about that now. That'll be for a different video, because it's not really necessary to know what happened during the last 2 months. It's more like what happened during the last 2 or 3 days, because there's been some absolute crazy drama in the Minepelx community, basically, and I've been directly involved in that drama. Now, there's also been a lot of confusion and whatnot about what's happening. There's been rumors and all these things, and I'll try to kind of clear things up in this. And, for those of you who are not familiar with what's happened yet, there's probably not too many out there. Hopefully this is going to be fairly popcorn-inducing for you too, as well as all the other like 4,000 people that already directly know about this. Now, the way I'm gonna try to make this video is I'm not gonna focus too much on the visual background, firstly because it's usually pretty distracting, and secondly because it would take a lot of time. Some of the things that I'll be showing you are like messages to people or messages from people, and they're pretty long. I'm not gonna like read them. If you want to read them, I'll leave full-sized links to those images or websites or whatever I'm gonna be showcasing in the description. The way it's gonna work is if you see like a huge message on your screen, then in the description there's probably going to be a time marking and a link to that particular piece of evidence or imagery, whatever you want to call it. So if you're actually interested to see the details of things, then you're more than welcome to check it out, because it's very entertaining indeed, and you would miss out if you didn't know the details. But I just don't have the time to talk about the details, and it will probably be pretty boring anyway. But if you have any questions, then make sure you comment or let me know any other way, and I'll probably end up making another video answering some of the questions. Especially if you oppose what I did, or if you just disagree, you're more than welcome to express your opinion, because here on my channel there is no censorship. Mineplex. Anyway, let's start. Alright, so technically, all this drama was sparked by my previous video, Rebel Guy, Are You Dead? Behind the scenes. In the background of that video, I showed freaking ancient video footage of back in the days when we recorded for the freaking 1,000 subscriber special video on an MPS, and yes, I used the replay mod. Basically, there were a couple of pretty smart and intelligent staff members who thought I would be stupid enough to quote-unquote self-report myself. Now, if you didn't know, the replay mod is actually not allowed on Mineplex. There's a stupid reason behind that. But yeah, I ended up getting banned because of that video, even though there were actually numerous clues in the video to show that it's freaking old, namely things like the winter sale at the top, the amount of gems I had, and yeah, I ended up getting banned, and I was quite revolted about that situation, because I really felt targeted. I upload a video, I haven't uploaded for quite some time, and as a result of that video, completely innocent, no harmful intentions whatsoever, I get freaking banned from Mineplex. I wanted to know who banned me, naturally. So I asked a mod friend of mine, it's just a friend who happened to be a moderator. His name is Ben. He's a really good guy, and he checked for me who banned me. He, as a moderator, he can check my punishment history to see who banned me, and that's what he did. A very lovely guy. And that was that. I now knew who banned me, and for your information, it was actually the Wanderer, and I kind of bad-mouthed him on my wall. I do apologize about that. He wasn't directly responsible for that. It was more like Toki who was actually more responsible for my ban, which I am sad to tell you, because Toki has actually been helping me with my previous ban that I'm not going to really talk about in this video. They'll be for another video some other day. Anyway, around the same time, Intergalactic JC's situation heats back up. Now, Intergalactic JC is a player on Minepelx that was banned quite some time ago. There was so much controversy about his situation. Now, this is not going to be 100% correct, but it's kind of the overall summary of his situation. So, basically, he received some leaked information about Minepelx from a staff member. This was months ago, by the way. He showed Chiz the Skype logs of that, but obviously he didn't give out the staff member's name, right? So then Chiz was like, I want to know where you got that information from. I want to know who that staff member who is breaking our policy is. And Intergalactic JC refused to give out the staff member's name because he promised him that he wouldn't. So what Chiz does is he bans Intergalactic JC. Now, that is not quite all. In a couple of weeks or months, not really sure what the exact time frame is, Intergalactic then actually decides to give out the name of the staff member, but the staff member had already resigned from Minepelx. Because of that, he still didn't get unbanned. JC, even though he had actually complied to what Chiz had asked him to do, i.e. give out the staff member's name, Chiz still refused to unban him, basically breaking his own promise, right? Chiz promised to unban Intergalactic if he gave out the name. Intergalactic gave out the name. Chiz refuses to unban. That is pretty outrageous. I'm not going to lie. Oh, by the way, if I should have probably mentioned this, Chiz is the owner of Minepelx, one of the owners of Minepelx, so he's pretty much up there. He can do whatever he wants, but it's not really too good for Mineplex's reputation, and the community wasn't too happy about that. Fast forwarding back to present time, someone claimed that the censorship in Minepelx was pretty strong, and that threads about Intergalactic JC would get archived. If you make a thread and it gets archived, that means only staff members can view it and it's not available to the public. So pretty much you can say your thread got deleted. There's not too much of a difference, it's just technicalities. And apparently also people got muted for talking about Intergalactic's ban in chat, you know, on the actual server and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty weird, because like, as long as you don't necessarily riot against the ban, you just talk about it, surely they wouldn't censor you like that. So I tested it out with an extremely harmless and innocent thread about JC. I was just asking who JC was. Obviously I knew who he was. It was just a thread. It was just a social experiment gone sexual. It got archived within minutes. There were a couple replies on there. None of these replies were useful in any way. None of them were hateful, flame-inducing, negative, positive. They're all neutral replies. The thread got archived. So things were heating up by that time, and the censorship was growing. Then, around the same time again, a friend of mine, Slaycrafter, got banned for fly hacking. Now, we all already know how easy it is to get banned for fly hacking if you're lagging. And that's obviously what happened to him, so it was an unfair ban. He lives in Australia, it all adds up. He doesn't know who banned him because he didn't see the original banning screen. He comes to me and asks for help. So I ask my moderator friend, Ben, to help me again. And I asked him, you know, who banned Slaycrafter. He gives me the information. I pass the information on to Slaycrafter. And that's the backstory behind all this. After that, things get serious. So, really not long after I passed that information on to my friend Slaycrafter, Jarvis, who is a Minepelx admin that I've had some negative past encounters with, messages me, and he's like, it's come to my attention that I've received confidential information from a staff member, and he wants to know who that staff member is, and if I don't tell him who that staff member is, there'll be consequences. Straight away, I thought this was pretty outrageous. The thing that came into my mind was Intergalactic JC. This situation sounded exactly like JC's situation. And we all know what happened to JC. He got banned. So I was kind of thinking, this could be it. This could be it. But either way, as I said, I was quite outraged, especially how Jarvis, out of all people, Jarvis requested such information from me. You know, you could almost say he threatened me. So I message him back. I do not obviously tell him who my friend Ben is, because I do not want Ben to get in trouble. He's my friend. So I message him back. And I ask him why he wants to know this information, what he's going to do with this information, what happens to me if I don't give him the information, what happens to me if I do give him the information, what happens to the staff member, all these things. I wanted him to tell me everything, because I feel like I have the right to know why I'm technically getting threatened like that. There was that. There was a bit of silence after. Everyone was, holding their breath, waiting for drama to continue, and they were not to be disappointed. Before we go on, though, I think it would be appropriate to tell you at this point, if you didn't know about this, why Jarvis would want to know who the staff member is that passed me on the ban information for myself and my friend Slaycrafter. So, Minepelx has some really messed up rules. For example, where staff members are not technically allowed to check punishment histories and related details for other players, because for some reason it's considered confidential information or something like that. However, when you get banned in-game and you see the ban screen for the first time, it tells you who banned you. But if you're not on the server while you get banned, and or if you happen to lag out before you see the ban screen, then you won't be able to see who banned you. So why is it against the rules that a staff member tells you something that you could know either way? That is just messed up, Minepelx. Now, moving on with the story, this is not really relating to the story, but it's some nice supplementary information that may be interesting. So, not long after that, this all happened basically at the same time, you have to keep in mind. There was so much drama, it was almost impossible to keep up with this. Intergalactic JC had received anonymous information from someone who claims to be a Minepelx staff member on Skype, and he basically shared all that information on his engine wall. Basically, what the staff member said is that there is a chance that Minepelx will implement new rules that will basically completely ruin the community and pride of people, because it will be rules of corruption, it will be rules of just censorship, and things like that, basically. Now, those were not 100% confirmed. Actually, they were not confirmed at all. And several high-profile staff members directly denied that these rules were actually meant to be proposed at all. But then again, the anonymous staff member also said that most high-profile staff members don't know about them. That was kind of all fitting together. Well, I shared the summary of those rule proposals that JC received from the anonymous staff member on my engine wall. Now, very soon thereafter, I received 4 warning points from Jarvis for spreading rumors on my own engine wall. That was freaking ridiculous. Once again, I felt absolutely targeted, because that showed that Jarvis was closely monitoring me in particular. How else could he know about that so quickly? That brought my total forum warning points up to 7. And if you're unfamiliar with the Minepelx punishment system, if you get 8 warning points, you get permanently banned. That's how it works. So I was 1 point away, 1 point from being permanently banned. At that time, I knew that my time here was pretty limited. Jarvis would do absolutely everything in his power to silence me, finally get rid of me for good. So I had to be really careful I didn't say anything wrong on my wall and or the forums, or I would get that 1 extra warning point that I would need to get banned, and I knew that. One mistake, Jarvis would find it, Jarvis would take advantage of it, Jarvis would be victorious. However, I never received that extra warning point, so good on me for that one. The next day I received the reply from Jarvis, and he clarified almost nothing. I asked all these questions in my original reply, and he completely ignored 95% of what I said in that message. And instead, he explicitly threatens to network ban me if I didn't do as he asked, if I did not kiss his ass. You could go as far as saying he blackmailed me. I think this comes pretty close to the definition of blackmail or extortion, though blackmail sounds way more dramatic, so let's just go with blackmail. So he was pretty serious, right? He made it clear that he is ready to ban me if I don't comply with his tyrannic wishes. I was contemplating my options, right? And shortly afterwards, I received a message from an anonymous user. Let's just call him John. He's gonna be mentioned a couple of times in this video and especially next video. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So John came forward and he shared with me some pretty game-changing information about Minepelx. I mean, this is something that had the power to pretty much ruin Mineplex's reputation. The timing of this was just so excellent. Jarvis blackmailed me because he had the power to simply ban me, and that was that. I had nothing I could do about that. However, now I was armed with this game-changing information about Minepelx, and I told myself, I'm gonna get network banned for this, but the opportunity is just too great not to get it. I need to do it for my pride, my friends, and just out of genuine curiosity, actually. Since I wasn't going to give out the name of my friend anyway, because he would either get banned or at least demoted, I decided to turn the tables on Jarvis and threaten him back. I tell him that if he does not, 1. Unban players that he had already banned for supporting me, 2. Doesn't take back his threats against or blackmails against me and also numerous other players who claim to have leaked information and whatnot about Minepelx. There were many other people who were in a pretty similar situation to me. And 3, I wanted him to apologize publicly. I told him explicitly that if he does not comply and doesn't complete any or all of these 3 tasks, I will go ahead and leak that information I received from John. Now, before you call me a bad person and tell me that I had absolutely no right to talk to a Minepelx admin like that, think again. Jarvis blackmailed me. So naturally I responded by blackmailing him back. I'm a rebel. I don't let myself get defeated like that. That's just not how it works. I am resilient. Not long after that, people started to get banned for supporting me and just overall expressing their opinion, and if that opinion clashed with what Minepelx wanted people to believe, they would get silenced. And that was absolutely crazy, unheard of. So I made a wall post on my engine wall warning people that even if they do support me and all that, if they don't want to get network banned, I recommended they just stay out of it. They can observe and all that, but if they participate on it, and if Jarvis sees their participation, they are a danger of getting themselves permanently removed from the network for basically not sharing Mineplex's opinion, the positive vibe that is always going on. And the drama was being discussed everywhere on the website, in-game, people got muted, their threads got archived. I actually made a compilation of threads that ended up getting archived. I'll link all these, there's like a dozen of them. I'll link all these in the description. And I made a compilation of them to just show you the sheer censorship that was genuinely going on Minepelx around that time. There is threads that are asking why threads get archived. There is threads that want to know what's happening. There's threads that neutrally state their opinion. It still gets archived. Basically anything discussing the issue in any way gets removed. And if the medium of discussion is aggressive towards Minepelx, then that user gets network banned because Minepelx does not want people's honest opinions. Minepelx wants people to say that everything is fine. This has actually been a problem for many months, and I kid you not. Minepelx has had an absolute horrid history of dealing with negative feedback, whether constructive feedback or not, and that's a fact. Rather than listening to people, rather than seeing their perspective, rather than caring for the community, just building a community that is constructive and positive, Minepelx censors every single bit of negativity, even if the negativity is constructive and not intended to be harmful or an attack against Minepelx. They just remove everything they don't like to see, and that just makes the problem so much worse than what it already is. So bad. So the next morning, Ben came forward and revealed himself to Jarvis, and he said that he was the one who gave me the information. Obviously, he was demoted immediately for helping players who were punished unfairly, because that's a big no-no. Minepelx needs robotic suck-up staff members who kiss Jarvis's toes and pray for him while they take a poop, rather than help players. Ben did it because he's a hero, and he thought that if he turns himself in, he will save me from getting banned. I really sincerely wish he actually would have told me about that before he did so, because then I may have stopped him. Obviously, I already had other plans. Dude, I was ready to get network banned. I was getting everything ready. I was preparing for it to happen. And Ben came forward, got himself demoted, and changed absolutely nothing about the situation. However, since Jarvis had actually had his information that he wanted in the first place, was he still going to ban me? I mean, he threatened to ban me within 24 hours if I did not tell him who that staff member was. The staff member came forward before the 24 hours were up. What happened then? Well, Jarvis didn't say anything. Instead, without warning, he network bans me as soon as these 24 hours were up. And that was that. Now we have to ask ourselves, hypothetically speaking, if I backstabbed my friend Ben and gave out his name to Jarvis, what would have happened? My theory is I would have still been network banned, just like Intergalactic JC. Minepelx seems to have a very bad tendency to lie to its players for personal gain. Now that's not okay. So since I promised Jarvis that I would leak information about the server should he not complete my 3 tasks, and within 48 hours, I can confirm to you right now that there will be a new video as soon as possible uploaded to this channel informing you of this information. So get your popcorn ready, this is going to be good. Now, while recording this last part, I am realizing I messed up some of the timelines with this, and I'm not to blame for that, quite honestly. So many things happen in such a short amount of time, it's extremely easy to mess up the time markings with this. But I want to link you to a document by the Burger Man guy. It's a Google Doc called the Burger Times, and the Burger Man has been updating this document as we went, adding the events as they happened in order. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the things written on here are not 100% accurate, but it's extremely entertaining to see how things went down, because this shows more to the overall story than just to my personal situation, which is mostly what I've talked about in this video. I recommend you check it out if you're interested. It's a very good read, and it gives you a broader understanding of what's actually been happening and how other people have reacted. So that is pretty much this video done. I just want to say a couple of things before I actually end it off. First one being, a lot of people seem to think that just because I'm network banned on Minepelx means I'll no longer play on Minepelx or even continue my YouTube channel. This is not true. There is ways around this, alt accounts and all these shenanigans. And there's also been talks about making a little community server that, we could play on just like we used to on Minepelx. Also, I just want to say, Jarvis, there's been a lot of hate against you and people making fun of you. I just want to say that is not meant to be a personal attack or anything. We don't actually think you're a bad person. We don't genuinely mean harm to you. This is a block game. Having said that, you're a bit of a dick.